Remember that? Welcome to Nate's Garage and Bakery. For all yous who don't like my jibber jabbering and how long my videos take to get around to the point, well, this part's for you. I'm going to take that 3-pronger and make that into that 4-pronger right there. So what you got to do is take the old 3-pronger apart. You'll unscrew it there and then unhinge it like that, and then just rip that shit right out of there. And then you'll have this new part here with the 4 prongs in it. What you're going to do is shove the wires up on through there, and then maybe you have to clip a couple things here, screw a couple things on tight, and then bam! You got yourself a 4-prong plug. Now, over in the wall outlet, you have 3-prong outlet over there, so now you got to take that out of there, and then you got to put yourself a 4-prong outlet in there. That way you can plug your 4-prong plug into the 4-prong outlet, just like that. Remember that 3-prong 240-volt extension cord I made? Still works great, but I have a different need. I want one plug to provide 240 volts for my welder and my Cut Shifty plasma cutter. Plus, I want it to provide 120 volts for grinders and hair dryers. One plug to rule them all. I'm going to accomplish that with a 4-prong NEMA 1450 50-amp plug instead of that 3-prong NEMA 650 50-amp plug that I used previously. I'll alter that extension cord, plus I'm going to alter my wall outlet. And in the end, the outlet's going to provide 2 legs of electricity for the 240, just like it was before. Plus the earth ground, just like it was before. Plus, it's going to provide a neutral line, which is going to be new, which is going to be used for that 120-volt circuit. Okay, first some other explanation through the video, and then onward. Off of this side, we're going to leave that. That's still going to be the welder outlet. But we're going to add another box somehow onto that with a 120 volt outlet on there also. So now we've got the welder plug, we've got the 120 plug, all across here on the extension cable. The more astute amongst you may realize that on these 220 plugs like this, you have a hot leg of 120 and another hot leg of 120 and an earth ground. And basically between these 2 plugs, you get your 220 for the welder or the dryer or whatever. But you also get 120 between this hot leg and the earth ground, and 120 volts between this leg and the earth ground. So why not just use one of these for the 120 for the outlet? You never want to do that. This ground is meant for emergency purposes only. You never want to intentionally run current through the ground. Otherwise, this ground is basically connected to this metal box, for instance. You're basically energizing this entire metal box. You don't want that. Well, maybe you do. Maybe you're a masochist or something and you want to shock the shit out of yourself.
Previously on Nate's Garage and Bakery.
There we go. And once again, we're clipping back the red conductore. In that previous extension cord video, I snipped that red wire and left it bare. If you're going to use this type of cable in a metal box, you will need to tape off the end of the red wire, or whichever wire you did not use, so that it does not make contact with the metal box. I did not do this because my plans changed, and you'll see that in the next video.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled program.
For this plug end, let's start by letting old crappy eat. Here we have our beautiful 8-4 wire, and let's see about getting this apart. Looks like 3 screws, one here, and one here. That's for the cable clamp. Oh, crappy. You need new batteries. You're crappier than usual. There we go. You can see, though, that they did color code these screws. 2 black screws for the HOTS lines and 1 bare or copper or naked for the, neutral. And then, of course, the green for the ground. Let's see what, Let's see if they have any indication in the documentation. That's just a thing there. What's this thing say? Might as well use whatever color codes are in here. the white for neutral, the red and the black for hot. And specifically, the red on the right, red for right, RR, and the black on the left. Okay, so I need to take a little bit.
Boring!
See what I did there? There is our neutral, there's our two hot, so there's our ground. Both sides. Clamp to the max. Baby, this goes back on here. One of those times, maybe I'll get it. Like so. There is our new 4-prong plug. This is the place in the wall where I plugged my 3-prong outlet into. I wired that into my fuse box myself. I'm going to redo that so that it has a neutral leg in it. Leg, neutral connection, whatever you want to call it. So I can plug into there and get both 220 for the welder and the Cut Shifty and 120 for the blow dryer out of that sucker. Why, yes, as a matter of fact, that is the get one free Harbor Freight multimeter. I've got about 3 or 4 of them. They work great. Set to a 750 AC volts. You always want to check to make sure your meter works before you turn your circuit off and try to measure it for 0. You want to make sure it measures voltage. Otherwise, if your meter's messed up in some fashion, then whatever. You want to make sure it works first. So now it's telling me I got 240 on there. Now let's go kill it. Now we got 0 volts. Now we know we have 0 volts because we know our meter was measuring voltage before. Ha! Now on this little 120 circuit over here that I'm going to be wiring the neutral from for this whole shebang, I'm going to plug this little dude in here. Whether it shows up on camera very well or not, those two are lit up, meaning I have juice. Let's kill it. I have nothing on this anymore. Now for this little outlet over here, let's just get rid of everything that's plugged in and grab us a screwdriver and get this thing out of here. I believe I've already wired the neutral from here over to the welder outlet next door. But there we go, it's off and out of the way. Oops. Let's just make sure we lose that screw. And those are easy to strip. Jeez. Of course, if you don't trust your meter or your tools, you can always lick the sides of an outlet to know that it's turned off. We already got the white neutral in here coming off. Got the incoming hot and neutral. Got the outgoing neutral going down the tube. On to the next one. On to the next one.
Hey, bring it back, bring it back. Now double your money and make it stack.
And since we're not really doing anything fantastical on that outlet, on the end of the extension cord, we're just using the same neutral as this other circuit over here. That's all the neutrals are in the same place back in the box. Probably something against code there, but whatever. There is our nice, clean, dead bug free, whatchamahoozy. Make sure we lose that screw down the furthest recesses of frickin' garage hell. Okay, here's our existing outlet. Nice big thick fat wires coming in, as well as the what do you call that thing, you know, the green one. And then also here's our neutral from next door that I had already run over. I will add that into our circuit. First things first, we're going to use this metal front plate here. We're just going to replace the outlet. Whoa! And there it went. And yes, this needs to come off too, so we... Okay, now we're down to our bear outlet. Outlets for bears. What would I think of next? Mind if I breathe heavy into the microphone? Yeah, baby. That's how I like it. Alright, fam. Here's our new 4-pronger outlet. When I plug that thing with the handle in, the cord's going to come down this way. That's what I want it to do, which means the ground is at the top. So this is basically upside down from all the wording on here, which ain't no problem with that. Electrons know how to go upside down or right side up. Remember Y was black? There we go, there's Y. Well, these are both black because they're both coming from the legs. I didn't really keep track of them because it didn't matter for this. White, blank. There we go. So we got X, Y, white, and green, vert. So simple as this. Green. I actually forget now what I used, whether it was 8 or something like that. When you're running in a conduit, you can actually get by with lower gauges for higher amps, I think. Maybe? I don't know. Whatever the case may be, I did the research when I did this to start with, and I don't remember all the numbers now. There's there. That's number 1. And don't Y, number 2. Oddball angle. And let's get this untaped. I don't think I stripped it. Why would I? There we go. Now, I don't plan on actually harboring any campers out in my driveway or anything. RVs that would actually use this, so that's why I'm getting by with this. I think that's 12 gauge, maybe 14 gauge solid core. Meant for my Welder one single 120 outlet that I will use a grinder on or something else one at a time, not an RV park. We have all our connections in, nice and tight. We have it upside down, so we will need to make sure that this is right side up. Maybe I ought to spin it the other way so it's not quite as twisted in there. I would have to guess that this green connection actually does connect to that. I probably ought to test that out just to make sure. Harbor fart for the win. Set that to the ohm range. I have a better multimeter, it's just not handy. Hopefully you can see that reading there. Right now it's infinite. If I touch these two together, I get basically 0.6 ohms, 0.5 ohms, so you know, within a margin of error. I touch to the whatever, that green thing there, earth ground, touch to there, and I'm also getting half of an ohm, so we know there's continuity there. So now we just gotta put all that junk back on there. Yeah. Being picky about getting it centered, I guess. We put the front plate back on, like so. There is what some could consider to be a 4-prong outlet. Now, this guy just needs to go back together. Ta-da! That's back together. That's back together. Together at last. The outlet that I had for my air compressor, the outlet that I had for my welder, now is a 4-prong special. Look at this marvel of engineering. Ta-da! Like a glove. Well, obviously, I knew those were going to fit together because that's what they're made for. I haven't actually powered it back on yet, but that's the whole point. Alright, you got front row seats to the apocalypse here when I power this thing back up. Once again, set to 750 volts AC because 200 volts is too low. So there it is. Let's see what blows up. This goes like this. I didn't get my hand blown off from a fuse. That's reading 240 like it was before. Just to show you how this works. 240 between those two. 120 between that and neutral. 120 between this and neutral. And there should be 0 volts here between neutral and earth. And then we should have 0 volts between this metal and that dude. Yeah. Also 0 volts here, but, you know. Anyway, so there you go. Nothing. Something. Well, what can I say? Easy as that.
Ah, the old outro music. Do you remember the time?
Well, thanks. That'll be all for this episode. Please subscribe and thumbs up the video unless you don't like my whack content. If that's the case, get man.